This is a year of the guitar number 53, and today I'm doing some maintenance on my instrument. Roughly once every 6 months I do this. It's just a good cleanup on it. So first thing I've done, I've already removed all of the strings from my guitar, and when you do that you got to keep in mind that both the nut and the saddle are loose. They're, you know, you've got your nut, which of course typically is right there, and it's not supposed to be glued in place, and the saddle. So you have to make sure that you take them off and you put them in a safe place, and that you know exactly how to put them back on again. You know which direction they face, etc. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to take, believe it or not, some McGuire cleaner wax. Now let me preface this with a few things. First of all, the finish on my guitar is an oil-based varnish. That's what Agostino Loprinzi uses, and he had recommended to me using McGuire's cleaner wax. And actually, when I was at a Guitar Foundation of America conference, and I had asked a guitar builder what to use to clean my guitar, and he said, well, McGuire cleaner wax, which, you know, this is car wax, and I thought the guy was kidding. I thought he was joking, and he insisted that he wasn't. And then a little while later I bumped into Agostino Loprinzi, who built my guitar, and asked him the same question: what would you use to clean the guitar? And he said McGuire cleaner wax. And once again I thought he was kidding, especially if you know Augie. He's quite a kidder. So I asked him again, you know, I said, come on, really, what, I mean, I'm going to follow your advice here. This is a guitar you built. And he said, no, really, McGuire cleaner wax. You put a thin coat on, then you take it off. So that's what I'm using, and I'm going to put a coat on right now, and then I'll come back after the coat's been put on. So here I am with my guitar, and I've got a clean cotton cloth that I've put some McGuire cleaner wax on, and now I'm just going to kind of spread it around on the top of my guitar, and I'll get the whole instrument, front, back, and sides, covered with this, and leave it on until it dries slightly and forms like a haze on the instrument, and then I'll be buffing it off. So I've applied the McGuire cleaner wax to the top of my guitar, and it has a bit of a haze. It started to dry a bit. So now I'm just going to take another clean soft cotton cloth and just buff it all up. Remove all of the excess. The trick is you want to make sure that you get all of the wax, visible wax, off. You don't want a waxy buildup, and that's of course one of the advantages of this particular wax, is that you don't get a waxy buildup, and it cleans the guitar at the same time. So I'm going to do this to the whole instrument, and then so after finishing up my guitar with the wax, and let me just interject again that my guitar is an oil-based varnish. I'm not sure that this would be recommended for French polish, so I would talk to your guitar builder, your luthier, before using this particular product on it. So once it's cleaned up and I'm satisfied that it looks good, then I'm going to start working on the fretboard. And for the fretboard, I take steel wool, and this is 0000, which is the finest steel wool that you can get. And I'm going to use it back and forth to clean the frets. And it's okay if you are cleaning the wood too with it, because again, you don't have to worry about scratching up the fretboard, because it's not a polished finish. And this particular grit of steel wool is fine enough. So this is how I'm going to clean up all of my frets. The next step in cleaning my fretboard is to lubricate it a bit. So I take kitchen lard, which you can get in any supermarket. It'll be the same aisle where you find things like oil, Pam, things like that. So I take some regular kitchen lard and apply it to the frets, a fairly generous amount initially, and then kind of working it in. And after I finish working it in, I'm going to let it sit for a little while so that it has a chance to kind of soak into. Let a certain amount of time go by and allow the lard to sit there for a bit. And now I'm just going to wipe all of the excess off. One of the things when you're working on the fretboard, you always want to make sure that when you get up past the 12th fret, you want to make sure that you're not damaging the wood on the top of the guitar on either side of the frets. But you go back and forth and just wipe it down and clean it up good. And then the next thing we're going to be doing after this is doing some lubrication on the tuning machines. So now we're going to lubricate the tuning machines, and we use some petroleum jelly and a toothpick. And I just get the amount of petroleum jelly that I can fit on the tip of the toothpick, and I work that into the gears, just working it right in like that, all the way around. Once I've done that, then I'm going to take a string winder and rotate the tuner a few times around so that the petroleum jelly gets evenly distributed in the gears. Once I've done that, then the next thing is to wipe away any excess petroleum jelly using just a paper towel, because you don't want any excess there. Excess can kind of leach itself in through any openings and get into the wood and soak into the wood and soften it, which is definitely not something that you want. Once I've completed this step, then I'm going to put the strings back on and tune it up, and we're ready to go.